For decades, the BMW badge has promised a specific blend of driving excitement and executive luxury that few other car makers can replicate. When you find a good one, the steering feels heavy and precise, while the inline-six hums like a turbine to create the definition of a driver's car. The problem is that there is a darker side to this ownership experience that many people only discover after they have already handed over their cash. Experienced mechanics and longtime owners will tell you that the gap between a good BMW and a bad one is wider than with any other manufacturer. Some models are engineering masterpieces capable of covering 300,000 miles with basic maintenance. But others are essentially financial time bombs, wrapped in leather and metallic paint. We are talking about engines that destroy themselves from the inside out and repair bills that can exceed the actual value of the vehicle. Navigating the used market feels like walking through a minefield because you need to know exactly which chassis codes to avoid and which hidden gems will provide that legendary experience without bankrupting you. We have analyzed technical service bulletins and repair data to build this guide, so please hit the like button if you want to avoid making a 5-figure mistake on your next purchase. The first car that demands a strict warning is the 2006 to 2010 BMW 335i, equipped with the N54 engine. The tuner community often calls this engine the German 2JZ because the block is strong enough to make massive power, but using one as a daily driver is a financial nightmare waiting to happen. The high-pressure fuel pump has a failure rate so embarrassing that BMW had to extend warranties, and when it disintegrates, it sends metal shavings through your entire fuel system, which forces you to replace everything from rails to injectors. The situation gets worse when you look at the turbochargers themselves. These small Mitsubishi units are prone to wastegate rattle that sounds like a can of marbles, and replacing them requires dropping the subframe. You also have to deal with electric water pumps that fail without warning and direct injection valves that get caked in carbon deposits every 40,000 miles. This is a brilliant engine when it works, but you should stay far away unless you have thousands of dollars set aside for the inevitable repairs. Another vehicle to permanently cross off your list is the first-generation BMW X5, produced from 1999 to 2006, specifically the V8 models known as the 4.4i and 4.6i's. This car pioneered the luxury SUV segment with great styling, but under the skin, it is a mess of complexity and fragile plastic that turns brittle after a few years of heat cycling. The V8 M62 engine is so sensitive that overheating it just once risks warping the aluminum heads or blowing a head gasket, which effectively totals the vehicle. The real wallet killer on this X5 comes from the timing chain guides, which are made of plastic lined with rubber and eventually disintegrate. When these guides break, the chain loses tension and starts slapping around inside the engine, and if it jumps a tooth, the valves will smash into the pistons to destroy the motor instantly. You should also run from any X5 with self-leveling air suspension because the bags leak and the sensors fail constantly, leaving you with a vehicle that costs $2,000 a year just to keep on the road. A more modern disaster arrived with the 2012 to 2018 BMW 328i and 428i, powered by the N20 4-cylinder engine. This powertrain was supposed to be an efficient replacement for the classic inline-six, but it quickly became one of the biggest blemishes on the company's modern record. The fatal flaw lies in the plastic guides for the timing and oil pump drive chains, because they become brittle and crack as early as 40,000 miles. Once that guide breaks and falls into the oil pan, it clogs the pickup tube and starves the engine of lubrication, causing it to seize instantly while you are driving down the highway. BMW faced class action lawsuits over this defect, and while they extended warranty coverage for some owners, buying one used today without that protection is a massive risk. A replacement engine can cost up to $20,000 installed, and even if the timing chain survives, the turbo wastegate actuators often fail to cause power loss. Many specialists consider the N20 a disposable engine because the repair costs often exceed the value of the car itself. We must also discuss the luxury flagship that almost sank the reputation of the 7 Series, which is the 2002 to 2005 E65 and E66 generation. This car introduced the world to the iDrive system, but the technology was not ready for prime time and resulted in a nightmare of constantly failing modules. Diagnosing these cars is incredibly difficult because all the systems are connected on fiber optic loops, meaning one failed module can bring down the entire network. The mechanical problems are just as severe because the N62 V8 engine suffers from valve stem seals that harden and allow oil to leak into the combustion chamber. Fixing the resulting blue smoke requires specialized tools and dozens of hours of labor that can easily cost $5,000. You can buy these cars for cheap now, but there is nothing more expensive in the automotive world than a cheap German flagship. The final model to approach with extreme caution is the F10 generation BMW 535i, sold from 2011. This is one of the best-looking sedans the company has ever made. But the early N55 engine struggles under the weight of the 5 Series chassis. We see frequent failures of the electric water pump and the Valvetronic system, where the eccentric shaft sensor fails and the servo motor binds up deep inside the engine. What makes this engine dangerous is the oil filter housing gasket, which tends to leak oil directly onto the serpentine belt. If you ignore this leak, the oil degrades the belt until it snaps, and the belt fragments can get sucked through the front main seal to clog the oil pickup and destroy the engine. It is a seductive car because it drives beautifully, but it requires a very proactive owner with a healthy budget for repairs. You might be wondering if BMW makes anything reliable after hearing all of that, and the answer is absolutely yes. The company builds some of the best cars in the world when they stick to their core strengths of naturally aspirated inline-sixes and strong diesel engines. If you want to support the channel, please subscribe so you do not miss the detailed guides we have coming up. The first car on the must-own list is the 2009 to 2011 BMW 328i, equipped with the N52 engine. This is the sweet spot of modern ownership because the N52 was the last naturally aspirated inline-six sent to North America, and it remains a jewel of an engine. You do not have to worry about high-pressure fuel pumps or rattling wastegates because there are no turbos to fail. The composite magnesium and aluminum block makes the engine incredibly light while producing 230 horsepower that feels buttery smooth. You will eventually see oil leaks from the valve cover and filter housing, but these are standard maintenance items rather than catastrophic failures. Owners who change their oil every 7,500 miles often see these engines hit 300,000 miles while enjoying hydraulic steering feel that connects you to the road in a way newer cars cannot match. You should also look closely at the entire E90 generation 328i and 330i from 2006 to 2013. The chassis is rock solid, whether you choose the sedan, coupe, or wagon. And the Valvetronic technology makes the engine incredibly responsive by eliminating the need for a throttle body during normal driving. The 2006 330i is particularly special because it features a 3-stage intake manifold that bumps power up to 255 horsepower. Maintenance on this platform is well documented and predictable. You will need to refresh the water pump and thermostat around 100,000 miles for about $1,000. But once that is done, the car is ready for another decade of service. The electronics in the E90 are far more stable than the larger sedans of the same era, making this the perfect answer for someone who wants a daily driver that feels special but starts every morning. We can revisit the X5 now, but this time we are looking at the 2000 to 2006 3.0i model, powered by the M54 engine. The 6-cylinder version is a completely different story from the V8 disaster, because the M54 engine is virtually indestructible. It produces 225 horsepower, and while that won't win any drag races in a heavy SUV, the simplicity of the design makes it a joy to own. This model allows you to avoid the headaches of air suspension and timing chain guides, while still getting the utility and heavy road feel of a BMW. You will deal with minor annoyances like broken door handle carriers or window regulators, but the powertrain itself is a tank. This is the correct choice if you need a cheap and reliable luxury hauler that can handle bad weather. A rare but incredible option is the 2007 to 2013 BMW 335d with the M57 diesel engine. This powertrain is widely considered one of the best BMW ever built because the block and internals are overbuilt to handle high diesel compression. It produces 425 pound-feet of torque, which makes the car feel like a freight train when you step on the gas. The turbochargers on these models last much longer than their gas counterparts because diesel exhaust temperatures are lower. The only real weak point is the emission system. But many owners simplify the system with tunes that essentially make the engine immortal. You get the torque of a V8 with the fuel economy of a compact car, making it the ultimate commuter vehicle. BMW returned to form with the G30 Generation 540i because they finally learned from their past mistakes to create the B58 engine. The engineers moved the timing chain to the back of the engine for better balance and introduced a closed-deck block design that is incredibly strong. Toyota even borrowed this engine for the new Supra, which proves that the most reliability-obsessed company in the world trusted this German engineering enough for their Halo car. The B58 is paired with a ZF 8-speed automatic transmission that shifts telepathically. This combination provides modern tech and efficiency with a powertrain that the data suggests is the most reliable turbo engine BMW has ever made. It is fast, efficient, and offers the peace of mind that comes with a thoroughly engineered product. Enthusiasts who want something smaller should hunt for the F22 Generation 2 series, sold from 2014 to 2021. This car is the spiritual successor to the classics because it is small, light, and rear-wheel drive. The B58 engine in the M240i is superior, but even the N55 and the earlier M235i is a great choice in this simpler chassis. The lack of complex luxury tech and air suspension means there is simply less to go wrong. The stiff chassis does not suffer from the rattles common in larger sedans, and the suspension uses a straightforward design that is easy to service. This is a car you can take to the track on Sunday and drive to work on Monday without worrying about a check engine light. The final recommendation is the BMW Z4 from the E85 and E86 generation. The styling of this car was criticized when it launched, but it has aged beautifully into a proper sports car. You can find these with either the M54 or N52 engine, and both are bulletproof power plants that are easy to fix since they share architecture with the 3 Series. The cabin is minimalist with no complex screens to break, and the manual roof on the Roadster is simple to maintain. The coupe version is incredibly rigid and rare, offering a driving experience that rivals a Porsche Boxster for a fraction of the ownership cost. It offers open-top motoring with the reliability of a Corolla if you treat it right. Owning a BMW is a calculated risk, but you can load the dice in your favor by choosing the right model. When you hit the jackpot with a good one, the feedback through the wheel makes every trip to the grocery store feel like an event. The key is to ignore the badge on the trunk and look at the engine code under the hood. Stick to the naturally aspirated inline-sixes or the modern B58, and please stay away from the early V8s unless you enjoy burning money. A pre-purchase inspection from an independent specialist is the best $200 you will ever spend because it will reveal if that clean-looking sedan is actually leaking from every gasket. You can navigate the market with confidence now that you are armed with this list. BMW ownership can be surprisingly affordable and incredibly fun, provided you buy the right one. Please hit the like button if you found this guide helpful to support the channel. I want to hear what you are driving, so drop a comment below with your own success story or horror story. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.